Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our virtual college visit series. We have Kelsey Kirkman with us here today from McDaniel College. Really fortunate to have her with us to share more information to you about their wonderful institution. If you do have any questions at the end, there will be a time to ask those, and you can certainly ask them in the chat or live if you would like. And again, thank you, Kelsey, for being with us here today. And I will go ahead and hand it right off to you to get us started.
Wonderful. Thank you so much again for having me. Like she mentioned, my name is Kelsey. I'm one of the admissions counselors here at McDaniel College. I work with all students in the state of Virginia, as well as Frederick County and Prince George's County up in Maryland. Just a little bit about myself. I did graduate from McDaniel back in 2019, so I still like to consider myself relatively fresh out of college. If you do want to ask any sort of questions regarding student experience or any specific interests that you all have, I'd love to answer those, or I can always direct you to some of our current student ambassadors who are currently living that experience as well. I am from Virginia too, so I will probably mention a couple of out-of-state information for you all to take away with you as well. But let's go ahead and jump right in. So McDaniel College is a small private liberal arts and sciences school. We're located up in Westminster, Maryland. Westminster is about 45 minutes north of Baltimore. Owings Mills, Towson, and Frederick, Maryland are some other popular cities around us, all about 30 minutes away. So if you are looking to do a little bit more exploring in the state, traveling to and from different locations, or if you're looking for more of a city-like internship, those locations are pretty popular amongst our students. Going up north a little bit, we're about 20 to 30 minutes south of Pennsylvania. So if you're looking to travel up there, we aren't too far away from that state as well. On campus, we have about 1,800 students, so we are relatively small. About 15 to 17 students will be our average class size, with a maximum capacity of 30. So you will never have, the experience of a large lecture hall, the professor down at the front with about 200 other students. We do try and make our classroom experiences very personalized to you and your peers. And I think the best part about that is really getting to have that relationship with your professors within every single class that you take at McDaniel. Most intro level classes are going to be a little bit larger in size. So for example, my intro to statistics course was about 30 students. Even within that setting though, there's a lot of group work involved. You get to know those students that you're in classes with. You still get to build that relationship with your professor, but as you move forward in your majors and minors, those numbers tend to shrink a little bit as you're getting into more specialized courses. We do have tutoring across campus. I always love just going directly to my professor. They're very open. They have office hours all throughout the week. And they are the experts in those classes as well. About 96% of them have the highest degree in their field. So you can feel pretty comfortable going to them and asking them for any advice or help that you may need regarding that course, or just life itself. If you are looking for internships or letters of recommendation, or if you just want to go in and talk about, if you're homesick or you miss your pets, they're happy to support students in any way that they can. A couple other fast facts on here: about 85% of our students do live on campus, and I'll try and touch on some residential information as we move forward. But as someone who came from out of state, I didn't find McDaniel to be a suitcase school at all. You will find a lot of our students remaining on campus throughout the weekends, all the way up until their senior year. We already talked a little bit about average class size, but our student to professor ratio is about 12 to 1. The incoming freshman class of last year, about 37% of those students are students of color, and about 40% of those students were first generation students. I do want to go over some key pieces to our academic curriculum that make us stand out a little bit more. We do have a very wide variety of majors and minors, and that's usually why I introduce McDaniel as a liberal arts and sciences school, just so that students understand that we do have the arts, humanities, social sciences, but we also have a pretty rigorous STEM program as well. No matter what kind of major or minor you select, and we do have a lot of double majors on campus, so don't feel like you can only select one. All students will go through both our McDaniel plan and our McDaniel commitment. And these are really supplemental pieces to your majors and minors. Because we are a liberal arts institution, we want to make sure that you are obviously focusing and becoming experts in those majors and minors that you choose, but we do want you to have some outside experiences that really enhance those programs and help you to be a little bit more well-rounded and a little bit more marketable, especially after graduation. So for example, first we'll have our McDaniel plan. This is going to be our general education requirement plan for students. Within the plan, there are a couple different categories that you'll fulfill, but they are very broad, and within each of them, you have about 30 to 40 different classes to choose from, truly based on your own personal interests. It doesn't necessarily have to correlate with your majors. It can be, side hobbies that you're interested in, or just things that you're curious about. I was a business major, and I don't think any of my McDaniel plan courses had anything truly to do with business. Maybe a little bit of psychology helped with my marketing minor, but I was taking things like game and probability theory. I took an art history course. They really try and give you a lot of different options. Again, that way you can kind of explore your own interests and maybe find out something that you didn't know you really enjoyed. Especially those who are maybe undecided can use that McDaniel plan to figure out where they might end up as far as their major selection. The broad categories that I mentioned with the McDaniel plan are going to be things like English, history, science, math, and art, and then a foreign language. Some students I know may be taking AP or dual enrollment courses. If you have a 4 or 5 on that AP test or a C or higher in a dual enrollment, you do have the opportunity to bring college credit into McDaniel, which may go towards that McDaniel plan. If you are looking at other liberal arts institutions, it may be a good idea to take some of those gen ed courses if you have the opportunity through dual enrollment, if you want to save some time or maybe pursue additional majors and minors. That's always a possibility as well. With the McDaniel commitment, there are a little bit more moving parts within this. The overall goal is to make sure all of our students have at least 2 experiential learning opportunities at some point during their time as a student. So this could be through an internship, study abroad, service learning, student faculty research. Because we are a little bit of a smaller institution, there are a lot of resources and ways to help you really figure out what those experiential learning opportunities are going to look like for you. They don't necessarily have to be connected to McDaniel. If you want to find something closer to home or over the summer or over winter break, it doesn't necessarily have to occur during the traditional semester. Again, whatever works for you is what we would encourage you to pursue. McDaniel commitment, though, does have a couple of checkpoints, if you will. I do want to at least go into more detail on the first 2 pieces that will affect your first year at McDaniel, and then I'll briefly touch on the second 2 pieces. The very first one is called My Place. This is all about getting to know McDaniel's community, our location over in Westminster and Carroll County, and just kind of getting an understanding on where exactly you're going to fit into the grand scheme of things, since McDaniel is going to be your home for at least 4 years. It'll start with McDaniel Local, which is your pre-orientation session. Typically, we offer about 10 different dates over the summer before you start as a first-year student, so you get to pick whichever one works for you. But that'll be 2 days and 1 night that you'll spend on campus with about 60 other first-year students. You'll do a lot of exploration on campus, just getting to know where things are located. You'll spend the night in a dorm, go to the dining hall, but you'll also work with an advisor on planning out your first semester of courses. That way you can take care of it all right then and there. You don't have to call each other constantly on the phone, email back and forth. You can just sit down in one room and get it all squared away. Your advisor that you'll work with will actually be the professor of one of your first year classes in the fall. And we call those first year seminars, or FYS for short. The goal of these courses is to really help you understand the expectations that we have at McDaniel as far as our higher level courses, and really setting the foundation for things like group projects or presentations or research papers. That way you have a good understanding on what those expectations are going to look like as you progress further and further into your career at McDaniel. The topics of these first year seminar courses are pretty fun, in my opinion. Mine was Shakespeare at the movies. It then turned to Shakespeare versus Game of Thrones. So if we have any fans of the show, hopefully they're going to continue that. I know the show ended, but that was one of my favorite courses that I got to take in my first year. There are some other fun ones, reading the Grimm's Brothers fairy tales and watching the Disney adaptations. That's a class with the English department. Chemistry offers a class where you cook as if it's a chemistry experiment. Psychology does one called Drugs on the Mind. There's a history class about baseball. So a lot of different fun topics you usually have some background knowledge on. That way you can really focus again on getting that foundation of those projects and expectations at McDaniel. Again, that professor of the class will be your advisor, and they will work with you until you declare your major. And you have until the end of your sophomore year. So again, if you're feeling undecided, you're not sure what you're thinking about studying, have no fear. There's definitely plenty of time to figure that out. And it's definitely okay if you change more than once. That'll be all of the first piece of that McDaniel commitment. You'll have your fall semester as usual. You'll take your finals, and I promise you'll survive. You'll go home for winter break and then come back shortly after the new year for a class called My Design. And that'll be the second part of the McDaniel commitment. My Design is more of a 2-week class or seminar that you'll do with all of your first year friends, and really start to think about what it is you want to gain out of your experience at McDaniel. So if there's any sort of goals that you have set for yourself, there's a particular club that you want to start, if there is a study abroad opportunity you want to take advantage of, they're going to bring in resources to help you figure out what those next steps are going to look like. That way you're not getting to senior year and having any sort of regrets on what you could have done while you're in college, because we are only there for 4 years. We really want you to take advantage of everything that we have to offer. So that'll be the second piece of that McDaniel commitment. Again, that's just 2 weeks in the month of January during our Jan term. It's the only one you're required to come back onto campus for. Once you are in your sophomore, junior, senior year, you're welcome to spend that Jan term any way that you would like to. I know some students come back to campus for a class. There are study abroad options for 2 weeks that you could do. If you want to, sleep in all day, that's fine too. No one is judging, but you can spend those Jan terms however you would like once you've passed your first year. The third piece of the McDaniel commitment is called My Experience. That's just getting the experiential learning opportunities. And again, we want you to have at least 2 of those. And there are, again, a lot of resources to help you figure out, what that's going to look like for yourself. If you need help, applying to internships or finding them, professors are usually a really good resource for that, since they do work with a lot of students. But we also have a Center for Experience and Opportunity office, which is our basically one-stop shop for anything career development. And they're actually the ones that are going to host the final piece of the McDaniel commitment as well. But that's a resource that you can use at any point during your time as a student. And they're going to be hosting internship fairs, job fairs, part-time job fairs, anything that you might need to really start figuring out what exactly your life is going to look like after graduation. And that's exactly what this last final piece of the McDaniel commitment is. They're going to be hosting a kind of like another seminar. It won't be 2 weeks. It'll just be a couple hours or so. But that one is called My Career. And they are going to help you work on resumes, cover letters, what to wear to an interview, what to ask for an interview, all of those types of skills that you'll need before hitting graduation. That way you can kind of start to develop a plan for yourself, and you're not getting to graduation and sort of scrambling at the last minute. But again, that resource in that office is something that is available to you from the first day you walk onto campus and well past graduation. Again, these 2 pieces are our more unique parts to our academic curriculum. You will have a standard major and core classes that you'll take. I would definitely recommend going onto our website to look at more details on specific programs if you are someone that knows what they would like to study. But again, please don't feel like you have to only choose one major and one minor. We do have a lot of students that will do multiple majors across the board rather than settling on just one. The main goal, again, with these pieces is to ensure that you are having experiences outside of those programs and not necessarily narrowing your focus so deeply that you only feel comfortable doing 1 or 2 jobs once you've graduated from McDaniel. A little bit about campus life. So like I said earlier, about 85% of our students are residential. You are required to live on campus for the first 3 years. And once you're a senior, you are more than welcome to move off campus. But I do find most of our seniors tend to stay on campus since there's a spot guaranteed for them anyway. If you would like to come onto campus, we are offering tours. We cannot take you inside of a dorm building. So if you're curious to see what that looks like, there is a short video clip on our website that shows one of our first year dorms. We have a couple upperclassmen dorms as well, and then we have 2 sets of apartments that are meant for upperclassmen. So there's a couple different styles of living that you can choose from, but all first-year students will be placed into one of 2 dorms. So cars, I know, is usually a question I get asked, especially for those who live, an hour or so away or more. Cars are limited in your first year at McDaniel, and it's through a lottery system with campus safety. Once you are past your freshman year, it's open to everyone, but I did just want to throw that out there since that is a frequently asked question. As far as student engagement, a lot of our students are involved in at least 1 or 2 things outside of the classroom. We are a Division III school. We have about 24 varsity athletic teams, and we are highly spirited all across our sports. We have an awesome tailgating tradition with our outdoor sports. We have a really cool student section for our indoor sports. So even if you're not interested in athletics itself, it is still a lot of fun to go out and support the various teams that we have on campus. We have usually about 80 or so clubs and organizations that are active as well each semester. If you don't see something you are interested in or looking for, it's very easy to start your own club. But just because of the wide variety of clubs and organizations we have, it's pretty easy to find something that you will enjoy. Those clubs and organizations are going to range from service clubs, religious clubs, cultural clubs. We have Greek life on campus. We do have intramural sports teams as well. We do have also that third, I guess, to the left bullet point says performing and visual arts. We have a gorgeous theater. They usually do a few productions each semester, as well as a music department. They have a couple of ensembles and choirs to join as well. So a lot of different ways to get involved. And again, it is very highly encouraged that you participate in at least 2 or 3 activities across campus. Traditions and events, just as any other school will have, we have an office that's dedicated to planning and running these different events for students. The team that does that are actually current students. So we do hire our current students to plan events for other students on campus. It's not necessarily adults coming in and say, oh yeah, that's what college kids want to do. We'll have just basic events on campus. Usually a lot of them have to do with de-stressing, wellness, health checks. We'll do different seasonal events as well. In a normal year, unfortunately, we couldn't do this year, but we have weekend blitz trips where you're able to take a charter bus off campus for a relatively cheap price as well. One of my favorite traditions, we were still able to do it with, of course, very safe protocols, but Thanksgiving, before we go on holiday break, we have a big feast with everyone on campus, so students, faculty, staff. We call it Glarsgiving since our dining hall is called Inglar Dining Hall, so we make cute little nicknames for things. But that was definitely my favorite tradition, is just to see everyone coming together, having a big meal before we all go off to break. We were still able to do that socially distant, of course. It was a little bit more scarce seeing everyone all together, but that was definitely one of my favorite traditions as a student, just being able to get together like one big family. Last but not least, I do want to go over some admissions and scholarship information with you all. We have our next upcoming deadline on December 15th for early action, non-binding. If you love McDaniel, you know it's the place you want to be. Our early decision number 2, which is binding, is on January 15th. And our very last decision deadline is regular decision on February 1st. We accept both the common application as well as our own McDaniel application. And the only 2 documents that are required with the application are the essay and the transcript. We are currently accepting unofficial copies of the transcript. So if it makes life easier for you or for your high school counselor, you are more than welcome to send a copy of your transcript that you have online or in your home, and we can use that for your initial review. If you are interested in the honors program, please, please, please keep in mind that you must apply before the December 15th deadline that is coming up very quickly. That way, if you are qualified for that program, they can send you out an invite to apply. Otherwise, if you do apply after December 15th, we cannot go back and review you for an honors invitation. If you come to campus before you visit, or excuse me, come to campus before you apply, or if you attend a virtual visit, that does qualify you for $4,000 through our visit incentive grant. So that will split up to $1,000 per year. And then we do have some scholarship opportunities for students as well, either a merit scholarship or a legacy scholarship, depending on which one you choose or which one you qualify for, but every student is reviewed for at least one of those. Legacy scholarships you do have to qualify for based on your parent or guardian. And so listed here, we have our educator's legacy, military legacy, or alumni legacy. Pretty straightforward, but I'll just go over what each of those means. So if you have a parent or guardian, either in a K through 12 or community college setting, you would qualify for the educator's legacy. I do believe they have to be a full-time employee of at least 4 years in an education setting. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same school. But it doesn't have to be a teacher either. It could be a guidance counselor, a nurse, secretary, principal, anything within that school building is just fine. Military legacy would just be active duty or vet, or alumni legacy would be an alum of McDaniel College. If you qualify for one of those, that would be $25,000 set, guaranteed each year that you are at McDaniel. If you do not qualify for a legacy scholarship, or you would prefer to be reviewed for a merit scholarship, that would be an automatic consideration as well. Those typically range from about $15,000 to $27,000 per year. If you are invited to apply for the honors program and you are accepted to the honors program, there may be some additional merit dollars that you qualify for as well. But about 70% of our students receive either a merit scholarship or a legacy scholarship from McDaniel. So we do try and be pretty generous with those amounts. With the review process of our applications, we give it a holistic review. I know a lot of students try and figure out, what our average accepted GPA is. It's about a 3.5, but we still are looking at the quality of writing with your essay, any sort of stories that you have to share with us, any extracurriculars that you've been doing, trends in your grades, any elevated courses you've been taking. So we do bring a lot of other information beyond just your specific weighted GPA. So just keep that in mind, really make sure you're reading over that essay, correcting your grammar. You don't necessarily have to write any sort of high academic paper. I love reading about, why you love Harry Potter or why you love The Office or anything like that. Those essay topics are perfectly fine. As long as we're getting to know you to some degree, I think it can be really helpful in that review process. That is all the information I had to share with you today, and this is my contact information. So I will be your admissions counselor throughout this process. So any questions that you have, you are always welcome to give me a call, send me an email, and I'd be happy to help. With that being said, do we have any questions at the moment?
I have a quick question. So you said the for merit scholarships, any application that is submitted is considered for scholarship, so it doesn't matter which of the deadlines that they're doing?
Nope. Yep. So that is a really nice benefit to McDaniel. If you apply for this February 1st deadline, you still have just as much a chance as receiving that scholarship as you would if you applied earlier in November. So take your time on the applications, but for those who are interested in honors, I think we have about less than 2 weeks now to get the applications in.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Kelsey, we just want to say thanks so much for today. I didn't see any other questions come through, but I know if students or parents or families have them, they will reach out and can reach out directly to you at your contact information here. This was really wonderful, a lot of information. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to share all of that with us. We really appreciate it, and we will be keeping in touch with you this school year.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much again.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.